Perfect fit clauses. How to use valances. Valances' primary function is to cover up any hardware or anything else. In our catalog, we have our valances connect to fixed shelf and valance standalone. I currently have a drawing of a tall module as well as a wall module. In our catalog, we're going to go underneath our local browser, find our catalog, which I have laid out on the bottom left, PFC Canada. I'm going to double click our categories. In our categories, I'm going to double click on parts. In our parts, I'm going to scroll down underneath cleats and toe kicks. I can see valances. I have valance connect to fixed shelf and valance standalone. A valance and the cleat are exactly the same part. However, when you drop it into our actual catalog and connect it to a fixed shelf, that valance is going to be at the very front, where cleats are situated on the very back wall to adhere the modules to the drywall. In our valance sections, I'm going to drag and drop valance connect to fixed shelf. I'm going to drag it into my elevation view. Once I see my magnet, I'm going to let go of my mouse. The next point is connecting a valance to the next available fixed shelf. I'm going to drop one right here so we can take a look. And I'm going to drop one right in the front of the cleat here at the very top. And drag and let go of my mouse and position it to the very top. So now I've got a valance in the very front of this cleat and a valance in the very front of this fixed shelf. We're going to add one more here on the wall module. Suppose that we want to cover up our hanging rail or put some LED lights into the actual module and have it discreetly hidden. I can take my valance, drag it into my elevation, let go of my mouse, and attach it to the very top. So now I've got this valance hiding the hanging rail system. If we look at our perspective view, we can see our two modules, module on the left and module on the right. Now let's pull down our actual back wall just so that we can actually see it a little bit better in our 3D perspective. I'm going to right click our wall, go into our properties, and I'm going to indicate that I want the back wall to be 1 inch high. Go back into my perspective view. If we turn this around, I've got my tall module and I've got my cleat situated right here in the back. And then now I have my valance right in the front. The same thing applies to my first valance. It's right at the very front. In our wall module section here, we have the same thing. I've got my hanging rail. And in front of the hanging rail, I have my valance. To install these valances, I would use some glue, some PL 500, or I can dowel them manually together to hide. I could also take screws and drill it from the very top of the fixed shelf and connect it right into the cleats. I will always pilot hole the drill pile hole first and then screw in with a regular screw. Depending on the size of the valance, I can make it a 2.5 inch screw, a 1.5 inch screw, or whatever you have available. Valances are purely cosmetic. If we take a look at our properties, we can right click our valance and left click on our attributes. Another window will populate. I'm going to right click the illustration. So we can see that in the valance, we only have edge banding at the very bottom, but nothing on the sides and nothing on the very top, because that's going to be connecting right to our sidewalls as well as our top fixed shelf. In our properties underneath variables, I have 3/4 inches. It's a 3-inch height. And the current part is 30 inches wide because we're having it in a 30-inch wide section. Now, if we take a look closer, in our part section here, it's also going to come with screws that are number 8 by 2.5 inches. So we've included these in our pack, and you can use these screws to actually screw these into your module. Next is Valance standalone. If I want to do a standalone item, and as indicated throughout our videos, anything that says standalone are all parts. We can drag and drop parts for whatever you want to create. We can drag a Valance standalone, and we can drop it wherever we'd like. Again, this is very similar to a cleat. We can resize it. We can right click, go into attributes. We can resize this however we wish. Go into our variables, and we can always change widths, heights, and so forth. We can right click it, resize width, and resizing it accordingly. The longest width is going to be 78 inches wide, and the shortest is going to be 6 inches. So we have 6 inches as our smallest valance, and our longest is going to be 78 inches. If you have any questions using a valance, please connect with us at support@perfectfitcanada.com.